We're live in Kingdom Hearts Academy Facebook group, making sure my audio is on. Facebook group. Hey, so we're gonna go over the our five or six offer system now since we have a hedge fund offer. So we're gonna go over our six offer system as just an overview of it, and we're just going to go over why this is the best business to get into. So email, phone number if you need help, support or anything, reach out to us. Reach out, call, text, email if you need help or support. So today we're going to go over our five offer system. Well, six offers now because we have a hedge fund offer. So it's a six offer system now. So what we're going to do is just kind of lay it out as far as how this all works. So hedge fund offer means we buy it ourselves, we rehab it, flip it, and we split profits on it. 50% goes to the hedge fund, 50% goes to us, so we'd be splitting 25-25. Wholesaling, there's no investment involved in that. We're just assigning a contract or maybe double closing. Um, so we're just gonna go over this. And creative, these all these strategies do not require any cash or getting into debt or um getting your credit checked, anything like that. So that's why this is I believe the best creative real estate because you can flip cash flow as many houses as you want. You just have to be able to negotiate, be able to explain the offer, be able to find the leads, and it's unlimited. You can have uh 10 rehabs going on at the same time and you're not investing in it. So you can do as many as you want. You can do 10 wholesale deals a month because you're not investing tons of cash or getting into debt. Same thing with rent to owns and the other offers. So first and foremost, hedge fund offer. What is that? What's the formula? How do we find that out? So I'm not going to use the CRM uh so that I can explain the offer in detail. So this offer is when we're going to actually buy the property, take it down. So this is going to be the lowest offer, the lowest cash offer. So it's going to be lower than the wholesale, lower than every other offer. And that's the only reason you would want to actually take a rehab down anyway. If you have a fantastic deal, you're getting it at such a cheap price that it only makes sense to take it down, right? So the formula that we're be able to buy at for so th this means we're going to buy ourselves, we're going to rehab it, fix it up. So this is a fix and flip strategy. This is we take ARV, so after rehab value, and I have tons of videos explaining how to get after rehab value, meaning what's the property worth after it's all fixed up. 65% of that, and then minus the rehab costs. And that would be the maximum allowable offer. So let's just do an example. Let's say we get three highest sold comps. We find the three highest sold comps. We get the averages, and the average is let's say 200,000. Okay, so you times that point 0.65, and that equals 130. And then minus the rehab. Let's say the rehab needs $50,000 rehab. And then you're looking at $80,000 maximum allowable offer. So if you can get it lower than 80, that's even better. So you get it for like 60, 70, that's even better, right? So the rehab costs we have in our in the CRM, it tells you cosmetic, total gut, move-in ready. You just select it and estimates the rehab cost for you. But for this training, I just want to give you kind of the formula and why we're at these numbers. And this is the buy price that we would be able to take it down, rehab it, and eventually sell it for the 200,000 and be able to split profits. Okay. And then the wholesale offer is very simple. You just, instead of 65, you're at 70%, right? And then you're subtracting out your wholesale fee. So let's do the example here. ARV, 70% minus rehab minus our wholesale fee, right? So same numbers. Let's say we're at 200K times 0.7. We're at 140. And then the rehab is minus 50. So we're at 90,000 here. And then we want a wholesale fee, right? So if we want to make, 10 grand, yeah, so the numbers would be the same because a 5% increase is 10 grand. So 10 grand would be at 80. So we can decide on this deal, hey, do we want to, if we get it for 80, do we want a wholesale or do we want to take it down, right? Because we can make a $10,000 wholesale fee or we can take it down for rehab, right? So with the wholesaling, basically it's you have a purchase contract, an assignment agreement, and then you have a the buyer. So you have a purchase contract, you have assignment agreement, and then you have a second purchase contract with the end buyer. So you connect this. So this is, 100,000. We have it under contract. We have a 20K assignment fee, and we're selling it for 120. So that's basically how wholesaling works. We get the property under contract. We're able to assign it for a fee, and we're not getting our credit check. We're not getting into debt, and this is and you can do this as many times as you want because you're not using your money. You're using the end buyer's money here, right? And then so the key numbers to get are rehab and ARV. Once you have ARV and rehab costs, all the other offers are pretty easy to make. So for example, the next offer would be the rent to own where you stay in the middle. So it's called a sandwich rent to own where you stay in the middle of the deal. And this basically you're taking the ARV again. You're doing I like to be at least 15% equity, 85% of equity, and then minus the rehab. So you can see that this is going to be even higher since it's higher than 70%, higher than 65. And then when you're negotiating with the owner, say, hey, we can buy it at this price, with the hedge fund offer 65% ARV, that'll be the price we buy it. If that doesn't work, maybe we can offer 10, 20 grand more and we can but that price won't work for us, but we would be able to help you find it. We'd be able to sell it to one of our investors that we work with. Is that okay with you, right? So that's how you kind of transition, right? And then sandwich rent to own is where it's similar like owner financing. So if you stay in the middle of like a subject to owner financing, these would be like similar numbers that I would be at if I was going to stay in the middle. I want some kind of equity. So there's 15% equity in this offer. So doing the same number. So let's say 200K times 0.85 and then minus the 50K rehab. So the same numbers. So you see our max purchase price on this would be 120. So let's say the owner rejects your cash offer, your hedge fund offer. The owner rejects your wholesale offer because it's too low. Guess what? Right? Like I can come up to 120 now. Hey, Mr. Seller, if I can come up to 120 on the purchase, would that work for you? And he goes, yes. Okay, great. So for me coming up to 120, we would want to ask you to wait, wait for your equity for 2 or 3 years down the line, right? So you can see kind of how the price now goes higher. And then with because going back to the cash offer over here was 80, and over here, we probably can go a bit higher. Depends on the area. If the area is good, you can go up to 75% or more. 75% I would say is the maximum for a wholesale. So if we go up another 75%, we'll be at 90. So you can see we're coming up on the price. And then the sandwich rental, we're at 120. So you see that? So the owner, so now the owner rejects it, rejects your wholesale offer, your cash offer. Now I can come up to 120 if you are willing to do terms, right? And then terms mean, hey, we can do like a 3 to 6 year term. We can do, mainly you can try to do like a 3 year term, but you want to negotiate the rent. So this is how you get the price. So with the sandwich rent to own, you need to get the price, the monthly payment, the rent, and the term, how long, the down payment. I try to negotiate to 1 month or zero down term. I try to get 3 years or more if I'm gonna stay in the middle. Rent. So if rent is like 2 grand a month, I'm trying to get like 25% off of that. So I'm trying to get like maybe 1,500 a month. If the market rent you can get simply from Zillow rental calculator. And then this deal, the price would be 120. So this sandwich rent to own offers, I personally would do them if property is in great condition in an area that I want to. So you become the landlord. Like you basically are gonna own this property for the next 3 years or more. So you want to be in an area maybe you're comfortable in, that you're comfortable taking down. And I like it to be in great condition because I don't want to invest. Like if the property is like a total rehab, and I try to do like a sandwich rental and stay in the middle, guess what? I got to put all this money in to rehab it. I got to put 30, 40 grand in. I'd rather do a different strategy, like maybe a straight option where I can just list it rather than putting any rehab into it, right? So how the contracts work here, you have a rental agreement, and then you have an option to buy. So the rental agreement is just like a standard rental agreement. You're paying 1,200 a month for 3 years. And then the option to buy is, hey, I'm locking this in for the next 3 years for 120 grand. And you can't sell it to anyone but me for the next 3 years. So if it goes up to 200,000 in 3 years, guess what? I can now sell the property and cash out, right? Or there's a lot of things you can do in 3 years. You can refinance it. You can get a loan pay off the owner. You can sell it outright, put it on the MLS for sale, find a buyer at the higher price, and then you net the difference. Um, at the end of 3 years, you can also, let's say that you don't find a buyer, you need more time. You can go back to the owner and try to renegotiate. Hey, can you give me, another year, right? I'll pay more in the price and the rent. So it's all negotiable, right? And what you're doing here again is you're trying to create a spread, right? Like market, like the ARV over here, let's say is like the ARV I think was 200 minus rehab cost. So ARV is probably like 150, just giving you guys estimates. And then the market rent's like 200, 2,000 a month. So you see I'm lower on the equity, I'm lower on the rent. So I'm trying to create a spread in the cash flow, a spread in the equity. And that's the only reason I would stay in the middle, right? And the next offer is like the rent to own assignment. And this offer, like I said, is basically you're creating cash flow. Like you're able to step into a property and become the actual homeowner. And you can do a lot with it. You can sandwich rent to own, very similar strategy to like subject to owner financing. You become the owner basically. You can um you can rent to own it to somebody else. So you find a rent to own buyer and then sell it to the rent to own buyer at the higher values, like the higher price, the higher rent. So you're creating cash flow at the end. Maybe if you get a 3-year contract, give them like a 2-year contract, and then within 2 years, they're supposed to buy you out, right? So you can rent to own to somebody else. You can live in these properties. I've actually lived in about 5 rent-to-owns over the course of my career. So you can actually move in, live in it, have it your own house. So if you are looking for a house, it's a great strategy to find your dream house, negotiate a rent-to-own. Of course, you're not going to make money because it's not going to cash flow because you're living there. You can rent it normally. I don't recommend that, but you can just rent it out normally if you want, create the cash flow. You can sell it right away. Like as soon as you get the contract signed and I have 30 grand in equity, I can just go ahead next week. I got the contract signed today. Next week, I go and put it on the market for 150 and I go ahead and sell it, right? And then you can Airbnb it. So let's say that the Airbnb numbers look awesome. You got it for 1,500 a month, and Airbnb numbers look like you make four grand a month or more. You can create that cash flow instead of making 500 a month, you're making like 2,000 a month, if the numbers look good. So, and you can do a combination. Like we do a lot of this where we combine these two. We'll Airbnb it, furnish it, maybe for a year, and then a year goes by, we see the equity increase a lot, 20, 30 grand or more, and all of a sudden we put it on the MLS. So it's on the MLS for sale at the same time it's being Airbnb'd, so it's cash flowing at the same time. If someone buys it, uh, you can cash out on your equity, right? So that's why I love this strategy because this is basically picking up properties, controlling them. Like the most biggest companies in the world now just control everything, like Amazon, uh, Lyft, Uber, Airbnb. They just control. They don't. They're just taking a split cut from here, from the seller, cut from the buyer, and they don't own it, right? They don't own the properties. Um, so this is that strategy. Um, and then the rent to own assignment. Could be owner finance assignment if you're doing owner financing. The reason I don't do owner financing is because I just had hundreds of deals contracted and only closed a handful, so it was really a nightmare dealing with attorneys and all that. So rent to own, very easy concept. Everyone understands it. You can get these signed over the kitchen table, without having really attorneys involved or anything. So the rent to own assignment we can come up even higher now. So you see the price is 120. So the rent to own assignment, we can come up to full retail because our profit is only the down payment. Like our goal is to get the owner down to 0 or 1 or 2 months rent. And let's say we're giving the owner 3 grand at most. And then our goal is to find someone willing to pay 10 grand or more, right? And you create that spread. So you give the owner 3K, then you sell it for 10K. And you're creating a $7,000 spread here. And that's the rent to own assignment. And you're doing this when there's no cash flow. Maybe they want full market rent, they want almost full retail value. So they want 150 and 2,000 a month. So you see that there's no equity, there's no cash flow. So all I want to do is assign this. So it's the same thing. You have this rental agreement option to buy, and then you have an assignment agreement that you sign with the buyer that takes over your position and that's for your fee, right? And and um and the price is going to be higher. So like I said, this price over here is probably you can go as high as full market value at 150, right? Um and then your goal when you sell it is I'm selling for 160 with 10K down. So you're trying to look for someone that has 10,000 to put down and you're creating that spread. So you see that? So he went from one, I went from we went from 80,000 on the hedge fund offer We went to 90,000 on the wholesale offer. We went to 120 on the sandwich rental and offer, so we're even higher. Now we went to 150. So you see the price just jumping up higher and higher, higher. And again, rent to own assignments, I would only do them properties, typically, could you do them with properties that need a lot of work? Yes, but mainly you want to do, great condition, move-in ready. Most people are going to want the property in great condition already. Could you do it with properties that need a lot of work? Yes, but it's harder. Yeah. So you see the prices jumped up. So I went from all the way 80 to 150. So we're $70,000 higher on the price, right? So rent to own assignment um is just basically your only profit is the down payment. Whereas a sandwich rent to own, I got profit on the equity over here. I got profit on the cash flow on the rent. I got 30,000 equity. I got 500 in cash flow. And I got also you can like if you did a real sandwich rent to own where you sandwich rent to own to another buyer, you can get that $7,000 down payment and get the cash flow and the equity. So you can get paid like three ways on the sandwich rent to own. And we um love this offer. It's one of our favorites, the sandwich rent to own, because like I said, you can control a lot of property without investing a lot. And then straight options is they call them novations, or if you're a realtor, you just list the property, right? So straight options, novations, they call it as well, or you can just call it listings if you're a realtor. If you partner with us, work with us, we're licensed in Illinois, and we have uh realtors across the country that there's like a network that you can do like a flat listing, and they'll be able to list straight options and novations as well. It's called listings too. And this is how did this formula works is very similar. ARV. Uh the maximum retail value, you're talking about like point 0.9 0.90, I would say 10% minus rehab costs. And your 10%, your commission's in that 10%. So just doing the same numbers, $200,000 times point 0.9 minus the rehab is 50. The rehab we estimated was 50K. So 180 minus 50, that's 130. Okay. So you see this offer did go down from the 150, but this is like, hey, we're gonna list it now. Like, hey, and how this works is if I have a property that needs a total rehab, instead of doing like rent to own, I would just go right here straight to straight option agreement and sell it. So basically you're agreeing on a price, and then you're having the owner agree that, hey, we can add our fee on top of your price. So if we agree to the 130, I'm gonna add maybe 10, 15 grand on top of that, try to sell it for 140, 145 on the retail market, and we're looking for a retail buyer, right? And you got to remember that all these numbers are maximum numbers, and you want to be lower. The lower you can get the numbers, so if I can get them at 110, and the beauty about this is like when you're negotiating with the seller and you're making like the cash offer to buy it yourself, like the hedge fund offer, um, you'll have the numbers in front of you, and you'll see like, okay, my offer is 80,000 cash to close on it, right? For us to buy it ourselves. And then the owner goes, oh no, the lowest I can go is 100, right? So you already know you have a deal, and the deal is going to be maybe the straight option, right? Because I got it at 130 at the most, right? So you already know that you can get this a straight option and get it listed on the market. And this is similar to like I look at this as like wholesaling without ownership. You know what wholesaling is? Wholesaling is when you actually buy the property, you absolutely do like nothing to it, and then you just put it back on the market. So this is similar to wholesaling, right? Like I'm just getting a option to buy. So I'm getting an option agreement. So maybe they give you a month or 2 months to option to buy, and you have the option to buy for the next 2 or 3 months, and you can buy it at 130. You know the retail price is worth 150 at most, so I'm gonna list this for 150 on the market, and I have this option to purchase, and I can create my spread just by adding my fee on top. And it's very similar, like if you get a like a cash buyer or a buyer that's getting hard money, we're just going to do an assignment. So you have the option to buy, and we have an assignment contract, and we assign that to the buyer, right? If it's a conventional lender, like you're listing these properties for retail, so you might get a conventional lender, FHA, VA loan, or something like that. So what you do is you record your option to buy, you record your interest. So you record your interest on title, and most attorneys, title companies will do this as long as the owner agrees, right? The owner has agreed to this already. So we record our interest on title, and it becomes like a lien on title. So when it goes to closing time, the when they're getting like a FHA loan or conventional loan, they have to pay the lien off, right? So this is we record our interest, and that's how we get paid on FHA conventional. But it is 100 times easier dealing with cash, of course, or a hard money lender, you can just assign the contract like normal. Issues with conventional lenders, FHA, stuff like that is, of course, they go in, do professional inspection, and they want all this, credit or repairs to be done, or they want the price reduced or something, right? So that comes out of that may come out of your fee because you added your fee on the price, right? And then the last one is management. Like we do Airbnb management. There's a lot of students that will do normal management, property management. But Airbnb management is mainly what we like, short-term rental, short-term vacation rentals. Because you can make a lot more in my opinion. But you can do management offer. Like hey, what if you can't sell it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna rent it out. Hey, like if if you find a renter for the owner, you can get 1 month's down, you can get 10%. If the owner agrees for you to manage the property, you can get like 10% of the property management fee. So if someone pays 2,000 a month, you make 200 bucks a month and you're managing the property. And then what we do is we do Airbnb management. So we're trying to get 20% to upwards of 30% of total revenue. And basically you're forming like a partnership with the owner. We're managing everything from A to Z. And of course, if you're brand new, never managed Airbnb before, it's gonna, be overwhelming for you. That's why we're here to partner with you on all these offers. We have a system already. Once we get Airbnb, you just plug it in, and we have a team cleaners, team of VAs, team of automated systems that manage everything, and we would split the profits as well. So all these offers, like we will be able to handhold you and get the correct contract signed the correct way, and be able to help you sell it as well if we're not buying it ourselves. Okay. So the management offer Airbnb is um uh how you determine that, like how much, like of course they're gonna want to know how much do I make. So you're going to the best way to do it is go to Airbnb and then search as a guest that you're trying to book in the same area. And you can actually go in Airbnb and look on their map, and you can get as close as possible to the property. And you can find like a mile radius of all similar properties, like similar beds and baths. And you're trying to get like three or four similar comps that have a lot of reviews already. And then you're looking at their calendar and you're just trying to figure out how much they're making per month. So you can see how booked they are, how much they're making per night, and you can actually see the next 3 months, 6 months, and see if their calendar is open or not. And you can kind of determine, okay, this one's making an average, 200 a night. This one's making an average, 250, and this one's making an average 200 a night. And it looks like they have 20 nights booked a month. And you're trying to get the averages, and then you're going to present that to the owner. Like, hey, you're asking 2,000 a month in rent. Look at, after paying our management fee, paying utilities and Wi-Fi and all that, it looks like you can end up making an extra 1,000 a month, 3,000 a month after paying expenses, right? So if it makes sense, we present it to the owner. And we like to use Air DNA. They have like a calculator. I should have bookmarked it. So AirDNA, you can log in, create an account, it's free. And then put the address in, the bedrooms, bathrooms, and it will give you like an estimate. So we use that number, and then we use the comps on getting the estimate of the numbers. And it'll and be honest, like if it doesn't make sense, tell the owner, like, hey, this you're probably gonna make more money renting it, right? And that's what we do. We just tell the owner, like, hey, I don't think if it doesn't make sense, if they're gonna make more money renting it, we're just gonna tell them the truth, right? So that's the 5 offer system, and you can see like this again, no cash, no credit to manage. We're just managing the property. We're not no cash, no credit to just get an option to buy and then just put it on the market. And yeah, we'll give you guys access to that company as well. So unrealestate.com. They do you can list your properties here pretty much nationwide. They have agents, and this is where we're doing like our novations or straight options. And depends on the state. Some states, require that you pay a flat fee, or it just depends on the state. Um, like Indiana, for example, they require like $1,000 flat fee if we sell it. Illinois, I'm licensed, so we can just list it ourselves here. But other states like Florida, others, across the country, we use them to do the straight options. We'll put it on the market. Like we have a deal of quite a few deals in Indiana that we use them all the time. And they're the ones that are listing the property for us, and we're just listing our options to buy, and we're either doing an assignment or recording our interest on the title. And the reason we have the hedge fund offer first, wholesaling second, right? Because you're gonna make the most money on the first offers, like the cash offer. Of course, if you rehab it and we have to invest money, put risk into it, the more money you're gonna make, right? Same thing with wholesaling. If you can get them down to a wholesale price, you usually will make money quicker, and usually you'll make more profit, right? Um, so this is kind of the hierarchy, right? Like you don't wanna start with straight options, because straight options, we're just listing at retail, trying to find like a retail buyer. So these things may not even sell because we're at like the highest price you can possibly try to sell it at, or the highest price that it may even appraise at, right? So start, with the cash offer, of course, that we're gonna rehab it, then go to the wholesale offer. And that's how you transition. Hey, we can buy it at this price, and if that doesn't work, hey, we have other investors that we can you know, to wholesale to, that you probably don't want to say wholesale to, but we have other investors that we partner with that may buy this property. I can't buy it at this price, but I have other investors that can. And if the property is in great condition in an area you want to stay in the middle of and cash flow it, you can make the rent to own offer where you stay in the middle. Property's in great condition, maybe you don't want to stay in the middle, you can assign it, or maybe there's no equity or cash flow. And then straight options, I think straight options are great. We close I think at least one a month what's listed on the MLS. But they're great for deals that, hey, it just does not make sense for an investor. So we got to get it on the market, right? And of course you can offer higher. And then the Airbnb management offer, um, you can do property management. I don't do that. I think it's too much headache. But Airbnb management, you can partner with us, or we teach you in the program here how to start your own Airbnb management company as well. So that's our six offer system now. And our goal is to just stay debt free, right? These are your goal should be, yes, do get some rehabs, get some wholesale deals. Yes, do some straight options that are transactional where you close a deal, make 5 grand, and then you got to move on to the next deal. But at the same time, the goal is to pick up some cash flowing rent to owns where you stay in the middle, and some management deals where maybe we partner on Airbnb and we cash flow it. So we're making cash flow. So one deal could be 500,000 bucks a month. We closed another deal in Chicago that's going to make 500 to 1,000 bucks a month last week, right? And you just pick up one of those a month. You got 12 months from now, you got 10 or 12 of those, and then you have 500,000 bucks a month times 10 or 12 properties. You got 5 grand a month to 10 grand a month coming in cash flow. Now you don't have to hustle and worry about the next wholesale or the next trade or the next listing or the next deal because you have the cash flow, right? So I would say don't just focus on one offer, but take every seller lead and put yourself in their shoes and try to help them with the best offer you can, right? Like if I always say, like if you just focus on wholesale and you don't offer any other offer, you may have lost like 10 grand a month over the course of a year, because you didn't have the other strategy to cash flow it, right? So find out, the sellers why they want to sell, find out how much they owe on the property, and you can get, the mortgage information from PropWire, which is free, or XLeads, which is a paid service we use now. You just plug in the address, you can see how much they owe. But so sometimes, yeah, you skip the cash offer. Sometimes you have to skip it because your wholesale offer or offer to rehab is like 50, 60 grand, and then they owe 110, 120 on the mortgage. So if you literally offer them 50, 60 grand, they're probably not going to want to listen to any of your other offers because they probably think you're an idiot, right? Because you're offering me way less than what I owe. So maybe you would have to lead with the one of the rent to own offers or straight option offer because they owe too much, right? So you gotta just use common sense here, right? Um, and then sometimes some owners, hey, I don't want to sell it, but I do have a lot of rentals that I was considering Airbnb, so they don't want any offers. They just want an Airbnb offer, and then some owners, they don't want to they want to sell it now, so they don't want an offer where they have to wait 3 years to sell, like rent to own. So we only have the wholesale or cash offer or the straight option offer, right? So what we do personally is if the property is not livable, you can't live in it, we're just offering a hedge fund offer, wholesale offer, straight option offer, those three. If the property is in great condition, you can rent it out as is, and we try to make all the offers. If it's a good area to do Airbnb. If it's in a bad area, I wouldn't make the Airbnb offer. And and if you do this, like with every lead that comes in, your conversion rate will go up. Like for example, maybe when you start off, when I started off, all I did was wholesale offers to wholesale, and my conversion rate, like starting off, was like 100 to 1. But as I got better at making the right offer, negotiating, I eventually got down, 30 to 1 or 20 to 1 or something like that. But by adding all these different offers, you can get your conversion rate down. Like, instead of 100 to 1, you can get 30 to 1. And as you get better, learn the offers more, learn how to negotiate more. You only learn that from making offers. As you get better, get it down to 20 to 1, 10 to 1. I know guys that were like at like a 5 to 1 ratio. 5 leads came in, one deal under contract. If you're there, I mean, business is so much easier. 5 deals come in, five 5 direct to owner offers I make and 1 deal under contract, right? And that's a lot easier than 30 direct to owner offers and then 1 contract because you're working, you have to put in 25 to 50 hours more of work to do this 1 deal, right? So learn this, and we have tons of training. If you go on our Facebook group, Best Chicago Wholesale Deals Live, or the membership area, Kingdom Mari Academy, if you just type in the offer, like rent to own assignment, straight option, Airbnb management, I probably have like 10 or 15 videos of maybe deals that we've closed, going over each individual offer as well. So that's our 6 offer system now, and every lead that comes in, try to help them with one of these offers. And as you get better at this, it'll become easier and easier and easier, and you'll get uh better at this. And you should be tracking your conversion rate. That's something that you should always be tracking. Like so always look back at the end of the week. So okay, how many offers I made, how many deals I get under contract, right? And then look back at the month. How many offers did I make? How many deals did I get under contract? So going back to last week when we're talking about just getting started, hitting your goals every week, every month, every year, you should be tracking all this stuff. And you should be looking for ways to get better. Okay, my conversion rate this month was only 30 leads, 1 deal under contract. How can I get this down to 25 to 1? How can I get this down to 20 to 1, right? Like, what did I always look back at all those 30 offers and find out what could have I done better than before, right? What could I, what offer, maybe I presented the offer wrong or made the wrong offer, right? So it's always a learning process, a growing process, and it's never ending. Like I'm always learning, growing. Every deal is different. Like there's no exact same deal. Every deal you're gonna learn something new. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me. So James 2:24, of course, the Bible first and foremost is all about knowing Christ, knowing Jesus as Lord and King, surrendering your life to him and getting to know him. And you get to know him through his word. He talks to us through his word. He speaks to us. He guides us, leads us, teaches us through the word of God. And if we don't know it, and you go out into this world with so many false teachings, false doctrines, false everything, you'll get deceived, right? So if you know his word, the Bible says if you know his word, you're never going to be double-minded. Like once you hear this thing, I go here. Once I hear this thing, I go here, right? Like James 2:24, it says, you see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. In the same way was Rahab the prostitute, not justified by works, also when she received messengers and sent them out by another way. For just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. So the person is justified by their works, and it's the doctrine of grace as far as Apostle Paul in Romans, Hebrews. Yes, we are saved by grace and by faith alone in Christ alone, and if you were truly saved, it will show in your works and your fruit, like what you do every day, right? Like God's goal is basically your purpose in life is to know God more every day. And you only can do that through reading his word, and not only just reading it, understanding it and knowing his word, but by actually doing his word in real life, right? Like going out there and doing it, right? That's kind of the reason why I stay consistent and faithful in doing these trainings is because I have a gift, a skill God's provided for me. I haven't, I have a skill that I can help other people, and God's given me this, and I think to be a good servant, I'm supposed to give it back and help other people, right? So in the same way was Rahab the prostitute, not justified by works, but also when she received messengers, sent them out by another way. So Rahab, the prostitute, was actually in the lineage of Jesus. What that means is in the bloodline. Like she was And that's how merciful God is. Like no matter what you've done, or no matter the evil stuff you've done, or stuff that you regret, or anything that you've done in your past, He's willing to use you and forgive you and cleanse you and have mercy on you. So no matter what you've done, or the bad things you've done in your past, guess what? God is always ready with open arms to forgive you, and you just have to ask. You just have to say, Father, um, I repent of this sin that I know that I haven't repented of, and I ask for your forgiveness and your mercy, and he'll forgive you, right? And just like Rahab the prostitute, which is she's in the bloodline of Jesus, which is crazy, right? Like in the bloodline of Jesus, and she helped the Israelites escape, get into the city where they were trying to take over the city, and she was justified by her works, it says here, because she believed in God, right? She believed in him, and she by her belief it created good works from that. For just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. So um that's what I love about this business too, is that you can give back, right? Like you can learn the business, get in the business, and I think like once you learn like how to make money out of thin air, which is basically what we're teaching you how to wholesale, how to do all these creative strategies without cash or credit. So if you think about it, you're making money out of thin air, and then once you learn it, you want to tell everyone about it. Like for me, once I close like 5 or 10 deals, I literally like started a meeting. I think my first year I made like 120 grand. And after my first year, like man, I just wanted to tell everybody about like real estate. And I think I started a meeting like at the end of the second year where I made like a quarter of a million, like 250,000 that year, just in wholesaling properties. And I just wanted to tell everybody, right? And that's the beauty about this business, is that once you learn it and actually close deals, you're gonna want to tell everyone, because it works, and because if you go out there and you're able to teach someone how to fish and how to make money out of thin air, guess what? They can feed their family for the rest of their life, right? And that's the most powerful thing, I think, is like being able to just give back and help someone else be able to feed their family for the rest of their life, right? So if you need help hand holding, reach out to me. There's my Calendly link here. If you need any help at all, support, just reach out. Calendly.com, best Chicago wholesale deals. Hopefully got a lot out of today. Next week we'll be back live, and we're gonna be going over business setup, I think, next week, or no, lead generation next week. And we're gonna have all these new recordings in our membership area as well. So God bless. We'll be live next week. So God bless.